Hey guys, my name is Abby Nash and welcome to my channel. I do astrology and zodiac videos here, so if you like this video, be sure to hit subscribe. So today we're going to talk about the Aries guy. This is the first sign of the zodiac, so as such, this guy's used to getting his way. He's used to always being first in everything he does. We'll get into a bit more of that, some of his personality traits, some of his quirks, some of my tips that you can use to get this guy to fall for you. Yeah, so let's jump right into it. But there are three placements in your chart that are going to be the top personality deciders, if you will. So the first one is your sun sign, and that is the sign you probably are most familiar with. It's the one you read in your magazines, or the one that you know that you are. Like, I'm a Capricorn, that's my sun sign. There's also, though, a moon sign and a rising sign, or your ascendant sign. These three signs are going to be the top personality traits overall. Now, I'd almost have to do a whole other video to get into how much these influence you, but quick Coles Notes version, sun sign is going to be your overall self and personality. Your moon sign is going to be what's underneath that, maybe your subconscious feelings, what you don't show, what you might not even realize, you know, why you do something or why you act a certain way and you're like, why did I do that? That's going to be your moon sign coming out. Your rising sign is going to be what other people think when they look at you, what they think that you might be, okay? But it's how you present yourself to the world. And it's really interesting, astrology, because it really shows how complex the human mind is, and it does work a bit with science in that way. Anyways, the whole point of that spiel was so that you know this Aries guy, this is a generality of his sun sign. But if the guy you're interested in has his moon in Aries or his ascendant rising sign in Aries, this can also apply to him. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, let's move into the first fact of an Aries guy, of his appearance. So an Aries, the Aries sign rules the head, and as such, his head is going to be where his most prominent features are. I know that sounds funny because everyone has a head, but for an Aries guy, you know, someone might be, their shape might be their prominent feature, or, you know, their hair if you're a Leo. For an Aries guy, his most distinguishable traits are going to be on his head, on his face. Not so much hair to the point that a Leo is, but on his actual face. So he's going to have very distinctive features. He might have chiseled cheekbones, almost like an Eastern or a European look. Another trait that Aries men have is their nose. It's often misshapen, not in a bad way, okay? It can be very charming and adding a character trait to his overall look and his face. But his nose often is, you know, it's something you notice, whether it has a bump in it. A lot of the times their noses have been broken, or it'll just be a bit misshapen, but it'll really add to his charm. So another thing with Aries guys is they like to wear sometimes hats, or they will have, because the hair's on the head, it will be memorable if you see it, or distinguishable. A lot of the times Aries, more than other signs, again it's a bit of a generalization, but a lot more than other signs, their hair has a bit of a red tinge to it. In the sunlight it'll come out a bit more. Okay, so those are some traits about an Aries guy. Another thing you might notice, more than any other sign, when he walks, his head's gonna protrude a bit more out than maybe a different sign. It's not that he's hunched over or anything, but his head just leads him. His shoulders are back and he walks into the room like he owns it. Let's move on to some of his personality traits. One thing about this guy is he is aggressive. He is. I don't mean that in a bad way necessarily, although it can come out that way if he's not careful. What I mean by that is he knows what he wants in life and he goes after it. Like I said before, he's the first sign of the zodiac, so subconsciously and astrologically, he's used to being first at everything. He's used to being a leader, even if people might not always follow him. He does like to think of himself as a leader. What else can I say? He can be just aggressive. I mean, if he's working on a school project, or he's on a project at work, or even with women, if he wants a woman, he'll just go after her. And because of this, sometimes he's just so focused on his end goal, like the ram that this sign represents, or The animal that represents the sign is the ram. He's so focused on the goal that he's not going to pay attention to all of the little details that often go into achieving a goal. He's been known to cut corners, if you will, which sometimes can be not a good thing if he's not careful. But at the end of the day, it's a good thing that he's so focused and that he can just get the job done. Okay, so moving on to how his personality relates to you, the woman that he's dating. You will know if an Aries guy likes you. If he sees something, like I said before, he wants it and he goes after it. He's not the type to play games. He's very impatient. He generally doesn't have the patience he just doesn't want to put up with the bullshit to play games. He's just gonna go after you. So if the guy you like is an Aries and he's not really pursuing you, or he's being, a bit wishy-washy, it might be a sign that he's just not really interested in you, because generally speaking, an Aries guy will, go after you. He's not above going after you, even if you rebuff him or you ignore him or, make him chase you or play hard to get. He does love a challenge and he does love a chase. So that's one thing you can think about when you're interested in him, is just let him kind of pursue you, and don't ever be too, with other signs like a Leo, they love attention and they love just feeling like the object of your desire, and they'll love it. But with an Aries guy, you really need to let him chase you. Another fact about Aries, he can have a bad temper. He can be very arrogant because he is smart. He has a right to be arrogant, but there's a way to be arrogant. You can be confident, and that's better than being arrogant. And the Aries guy maybe hasn't learned this quite yet. The more evolved Aries will have learned this, but not all of them have. So you really have to be careful with criticizing him. You have to make sure your words are very diplomatic. He's very sensitive to people's criticisms and anyone making him feel like he's not that first place winner all the time. If he feels criticized or not taken seriously, that's when he's gonna lose his temper, and that's when he's going to, just lose it. And he's very fast to get over it. He's not gonna brood for days like a Cancer would or anything. He's very fast to get over it. Just be careful, because when he does lose his temper, it can get extreme. Another fact about Aries is this man is a risk taker. He loves and lives for risk. These are the business investors, if it goes to a bad place, he might be at the casino every weekend. Like, he really lives and thrives on the adventure of life and those risks. He's also a bit prone to maybe falling into some addictions more than some other signs, drugs and alcohol. He just loves life, and he's not too concerned with consequences. He's not the look before you leap type. It's good to be confident, and sometimes this can be a good thing if he's, if he has some knowledge behind it and he's made some savvy business investments. A lot of Aries, because they're willing to risk it all, it's a gamble, but they have done well. But he's also been known to be naive. He's called the baby of the zodiac as the first sign. It's called the infant of the zodiac, and depending on how you look at it, you might agree with that or not. But in classical astrology, Aries is the infant of the zodiac. And he's the infant. He's the little boy that hasn't really learned everything yet, and he doesn't have the experience to really guide his decisions. So he's naive in the sense that, maybe he thinks all the world falls at his feet, and he's just more likely to take those risks. He does learn, but he's more likely to take them than some other signs. He will take risks in love too. These are the grand gesture types of guys that will fall in love with someone from a different social class, or maybe a different race, or they get off on the drama and the vigor and the excitement that you can get from taking risks. And this shows in love as well. Speaking of love, now we'll get into how they court you and how they are in the bedroom. So an Aries guy, if there's any guy in the zodiac that you can maybe have a one-night stand with, I'm not recommending that, but he's the least likely to judge you for it because, like I said, he's just in the moment. He lives for those moments. And yeah, he's really the least to judge you for it. It could, I mean, a lot of Aries guys that I've known, they've developed relationships and girlfriends from one night stands. They are adventurous in the bedroom, so you know, they aren't gonna shame you or, you know, shun your ideas of maybe being a bit more adventurous. So that's one thing that's good if you're into that as well. Because they do love the adventure and the exhilaration of that new partner, long-term relationships can be a bit of a challenge for some of them. If they aren't evolved or more mature, they're more likely to get bored and look elsewhere. If you are open to open relationships, if you're, you know, you don't look down on that, these are the guys that you might have the most success with there. It all depends on what you want. Again, these are generalizations, okay, but Aries guys have been known to get bored. Aries in general, it's just, they don't have an addictive personality, but they have an adventurous personality where they're always just, what's next, what's next, what's next. The last fact I can leave with you about an Aries guy, he will want to be your number one in all areas of life. So what does that mean? He wants to be the best in bed that you've ever had. As far as he's concerned, you should be a virgin. And you just, you know, the night you laid down with him, he just rocked your world and you forgot you'd ever seen another guy. Honestly, it sounds extreme, but that's really what they want. They want to be the best in absolutely everything. They want a woman who can also be the best. They're a bit more old-fashioned in the gender roles, obviously if they're heterosexual, but you know, even in other types of relationships, these guys are the ones that want to be masculine and they want to kind of be in control. They do want their woman to be smart and, you know, have her own thing going on. Obviously, they aren't cavemen, but they are the more traditionally thought of masculine alpha types. They do like women that can clean and that can cook. This sign has been called a germaphobe. So if you have them over, make sure your house is clean. If you have any pets or, you know, a cat, stay on top of the litter box. What else? They want the quintessential woman. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you agree with what I've said about an Aries guy. Let me know if you have any other thoughts on the typical Aries guy. And again, thank you so much for watching. I will have tons more astrology videos coming. I'm just getting started. I have tons on deck. I'm going to be doing each month dating a guy, or, you know, facts about a guy for each month. So Taurus is coming right up. I'm going to be doing videos on women of the zodiac. I have so much more coming. So yeah, I'm so happy that you made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching, and I would love if you hit like and subscribe. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.